Hi, I'm Alex Roman, Executive Editor for Metro Magazine, and welcome back to METROspectives. Today, my guest is Kai Boysan, CEO for FlixBus North America. Boysan joins me to talk about the state of the intercity bus line industry, what the future holds for FlixBus and Greyhound, and much more. Thanks again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Well, hi, Kai. Thanks for joining me. How you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing great, thanks. Having you on board to discuss FlixBus and intercity bus lines in general. For those that aren't familiar with the FlixBus model, can you talk a little bit about how it's different than some of the operations here in the US?
Sure. Flix is a global travel technology company, and we are active in more than 40 countries. It's ultimately bringing data-driven technology with local bus partners and delivering a great result for the passengers. It's a partnership-driven approach. We really partner with the local bus operators. What we do is we focus on the demand side. We look at the forecasting of the demand, which is really challenging. It needs
Mhm.
to bring together millions of data points. And what we do on top of that, we put the best bus scheduling possible to serve that demand. And then we layer on top of that the pricing. For us, it's really critical to make sure that we keep the momentum, the growth momentum for the sector. So pricing is critical for us. And then, of course, marketing. We want to make sure we lay that marketing on top, and we also deliver the customer services. That's what we focus on the demand side.
Okay.
And what happens with our bus partners on the supply side? They employ the drivers, they buy and maintain the buses, they operate the buses from the destinations as we define in our scheduling, and they also provide the onboard services. So effectively, we together benefit coming from different angles from technology and a data-driven approach.
And from their operation, from their side, how do they benefit from being a partner with FlixBus?
It is a win-win model. I mean, without both parties winning, it won't be sustainable and won't be successful in 44 countries. As we manage the demand side, what we also come up with is the increase in the revenues. So if any bus operator teams up with us as a bus partner, a FlixBus partner, we increase revenues for them. So that comes with demand forecasting and scheduling and pricing I've just talked about. Not only there, we stop, we also make the cash flow predictable for our bus operations. That's a really integral part of our offering
Okay.
so that they can actually invest into the future of the business. They can buy new buses, or they can build or rent a new maintenance garage based on that future projection of the cash flow. We don't also stop there either. So we give them the data, because data is really critical. They ask for the data, and we give them the tools. So they increase the utilization of their assets. What does that mean? And also resources. A certain number of buses they use, we give them the data, and we work together with them to increase the utilization of those buses. And likewise, we work with them to make sure that drivers are actually safe, compliant, but also leveraged in the best way possible. So we work together with them. And what happens, given our scale and know-how, we're able to deliver a low-cost
Mhm.
technology and platform. So we are on the low-cost side of the technology and platform, providing the demand. And this is, I mean, bus operations is effectively a local business. So they're also on the low-cost side of the business. So two sides coming together, delivering actually great experience at lower cost. So our model effectively splitting the business into two sides, global and local, in
Right.
such a way that we bring the affordable and sustainable travel to everybody.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about bringing that model to the US and how that's differed from the way kind of intercity bus services is done in other countries and around the world. Um, can you talk about how that model has been adapted here to the US?
Sure, absolutely. US has seen the intercity bus for more than a century. It's been growing phenomenal
Mhm.
decades ago, and in the last few decades, it hasn't had the investment and the upgrade needed desperately. So the way we see is we see the intercity bus is making a comeback and becoming top of mind for anyone considering long distance travel. That's how it's all happening in the US, the way we think about it. And compared to Europe, I mean, what we've seen is we made that happen in Europe as Flix. Definitely top of mind in Europe for anybody taking long distance travel. And we are making good progress and getting there in the US as well, but it will take time. What we see is ridership is up year over year for us, for Flix. And independent estimates also put annual growth rate around 4%, faster than any other ground transport. So given that intercity bus is dependable and also affordable, we have the edge to grow further. So we know that in the US, there are underserved parts of the country, such as East Coast and Midwest, where there's significant growth, including Canada, if I include North America as a region. Okay. And not only that, we're going to stop there, we are also making the intercity bus in the US an integral part of the overall transportation system. That is the critical piece. It's been overlooked for many years, and we want to make sure that intercity bus is a part of the planning process for the next 5 years and part of the transportation centers, public transportation centers for all cities, and ultimately intercity bus connecting the rural and urban communities, not only urban communities.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about how FlixBus wants to be involved in growing intercity bus lines and, if any sort of policy changes or anything of that sort needs to be changed here for intercity bus lines to continue to flourish?
There are two major areas if we look at the policy landscape today from an intercity bus perspective. First one is around rural bus program, and that's been a very strong and successful program. I need to give the full credit to everybody who's been actually making a success. It's referred to as also 5311F in the sector. So we estimate that for every taxpayer's dollar spent on intercity bus through 5311F, many more passenger miles have been served versus passenger rail. So it's been an overlooked kind of topic in the planning process, and we would like to address the imbalance in terms of federal support between passenger rail and intercity bus. That's the first one. The second policy change is about intercity bus is an integral part of the transportation, the big transportation in this country. And it's really critical that intercity bus has access to public transportation centers. Right now in the law, we have the reasonable access clause, but it's rarely enforced. It's important that we are able to enforce that clause in a reasonable time frame so that we get into those intermodals, public transportation center, and pay our fair share of costs and serve our customers from that. Those are the two major actually policy improvements, good policy recommendations we put forward in the recent past.
Yeah. And, it has hit, I mean, FlixBus, I guess, has hit a little bit of a hiccup with the kind of the intermodal hubs and sort of some of the way things have been adapted here. Can you talk a little bit about why those kind of intermodal hubs are important and what you're doing to kind of continue to work on those, to keep intercity bus lines connected, essentially throughout the nation?
Intermodal hubs or public transportation centers are really critical for multiple reasons and across multiple dimensions. Yeah. Passengers use those kind of hubs for connections. To connect with the local transit. So for seamless freedom flow, being in that public transportation center is critical. So that it becomes one big transportation. It becomes an integral part of that transportation. We cannot think about intercity bus or any other transport in silo. It's one big transportation system we're in. We need to connect. So they help us and the passengers to connect with the feeder flow. And another dimension of that is the local transit. If we have an independent exclusive bus terminal even in downtown, but not next to local transit. It's an issue for the passenger. Won't be able to connect go to their final destination. Can they walk? Do they have to take Uber? Uber costs more than actually the bus ride itself. So
Hmm.
then it is an issue. The second one is about the freedom to choose from multiple modes of transports. We want to give the freedom. I mean, we should give the freedom to the residents and the citizens of this country to choose from which modes of transport they want to go. I mean, depending on dependability, also affordability, depending on their destination. So it's really important one can connect at the public transportation center with local transit, local train, intercity train, as well as airport shuttle, any other modes of transport in such a way that they can choose from. So we that doesn't stop that, the benefits actually. We
Right.
also see increased effectiveness of security. If we have multiple terminals in downtown of any city, then we need to provide security and safety for the passengers of each one separately. In what it reduces the effectiveness and increases the cost of that security. So if they're all under one roof, we massively improve the effectiveness of that security, and it's also critical and avoid non-riders to come in. So it's a huge benefit. And finally, cost per passenger. If they're all there together under one roof in a public transportation center, we obviously bring incremental passengers, and we are happy and willing to pay our fair share of the cost. That reduces the cost per passenger. So it's a win for everybody. It's a win for the authority. It's a win for the passengers. It's a win for us. And it's a win for the freedom of the citizens to choose whichever mode they want to choose. So that's why we are really pushing in that direction. It's really critical. And we've seen success stories in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
in DC, in Miami, in Boston. I mean, it's working perfectly fine. And what we see, if you look at the other sectors, such as airlines, they don't necessarily manage the airports, but they enjoy the airports. So they provide their fair share of costs, but not necessarily actually manage that and be in charge of them. So
Right.
there's a success story out there for us. So we believe, I mean, surface transportation also in need of public transportation centers across the nation and follow some of the success stories we have.
Yeah. We work through the Chaddock Institute and Joe Schweiderman and his team there, and they've been tracing kind of the growth of intercity bus lines, particularly rebounding and finding new models post-pandemic. Can you talk about some of the trends you've been seeing over the last few years and some things that you're seeing in the future that can help grow intercity bus lines and also, obviously help FlixBus and Greyhound flourish?
Sure. There are behavioral shifts that we see in the market, which actually helps us, especially on the demand side. Generation Z, there's an increasing proportion of those new generation giving up driving and choosing public transport. And the key driver of that is the ease of travel and be able to actually sit on the bus, relax, read your book, sleep, but you make sure that you reach your destination. You know that you're getting that. That's quite a strong shift, and it's happening as we speak. The
Right.
other one is a strong behavioral shift is the customers are asking us to become more sustainable. So there's a customer trend. Sustainability is also helping us get there. It's an important shift. And the last one I want to talk about a behavioral shift is affordability. I mean, clearly, intercity bus by far more the most affordable public transport option when it comes to intercity compared to airlines and passenger rail. So, and inflation is likely to stay here, and budget matters more. So those shifts are helping us grow the business. There's also another kind of trend we see. There's an increased public and private partnerships. I'm referring to more around running these public transportation centers. That's a public-private partnership, effectively. I'm also referring to the rural bus program, 5311. It's another public-private partnership where we come together and serve the best for the society, for the people. So as all these changes are happening, technology is also helping us. I mean, it's actually at the front of all these changes happening. Customers and partners are all demanding more out of
Yeah.
the intercity bus. and they want to know real time. I mean, it's really important. They want to know where the bus is real time. Real time information is really critical. Technology helping us get there and give more comfort and ease to everybody in the sector or the passengers that this is the right mode for them. And we're providing that information. We're providing that ability. So that's why we believe the market is evolving. Excuse me, and the trends we see are positive in the best way.
One of the big things that FlixBus did is they purchased Greyhound some time ago. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing to kind of transform Greyhound and take them into the next level and how that acquisition has gone so far?
Flix bought Greyhound in October 2021. It's been more than 3 years now since we've been actually working together, Greyhound and Flix. And we've taken major steps to transform Greyhound.
Mhm.
First one we've done is we brought the bus networks together, so network integration. So we serve now more than 1,600 destinations in the United States, and we are by far the largest network. That has taken place in 2022. And in early 2023, February, March, we took Greyhound and put it onto Flix platform. So Flix tech stack has been actually fully implemented for Greyhound. Greyhound technology was well outdated. It was in desperate need of an upgrade, and we provided the best and the latest technology for that purpose. And now Greyhound starts to benefit from the AI, and we immediately saw an uptick on the unit economics for Greyhound and a huge improvement, not only from an organization perspective, but also a huge improvement for the passenger perspective. So they were able to benefit from the ease of buying their tickets, searching for their destinations easily on the platform, and leverage that the largest network.
Right.
But we didn't stop there either. I mean, with the Greyhound transformation, and later in 2023 and coming into 2024, we restructured the organization and the way we worked. I mean, but it's an important element of it is we moved Greyhound into regionalization rather than an HQ-based decision making. We pushed all the decision making out to the regions where we can make the right decision at the right time and have the right impact on the business, especially for our customers. And we push in that regard. And we reduce the management layers. So that organization structure helped humongously to the overall operational performance. So by focusing then, after we've done the network integration, all buses together, one bus fleet, and tech stack, one platform altogether, and organizational structuring, what we've seen at Greyhound after that is single-minded focus on operational improvement, in having the analytical approach and having the data out there ready. We're able to improve the operations massively. Our on-time performance significantly improved. I mean, original departure timing is more than 95% now. It's better to know, second to none. It's better than many other surface transport options. And that relentless and religious focus on data helped us to improve Net Promoter Score as well. So we are in the positive territory, which hasn't seen for a while. So it's a huge change. So with that all said, Greyhound has become a very strong bus operations and one of the best bus operators, if not the best in the country. And it's working under the Flix platform. So Greyhound is functioning like a big, humongous bus partner for us in the Flix platform, and we can see the benefit it's generating for our passengers and for the sector.
Yeah. For the first time, I feel, looking at these reports from the Chadwick Institute, as I mentioned earlier, it seems as if Motorcoach intercity bus lines are really making a dent in some of the airport trips, some of those shorter trips, and really kind of taking those on. Which of your brands, Greyhound or FlixBus or both, can take advantage of that? And are there other markets that you're looking to either expand to or kind of take a heavier burden on because of the success?
I mean, what we see is both brands can take advantage of that kind of the change in the behavioral shift. There's a group of people who prefer, obviously, ground travel than the air travel for different reasons, and we're out there to serve them. I mean, our both brands are strong, and our operational performance for both brands are superb, and we strive for a positive experience at every possible Flix experience for both brands, Greyhound and FlixBus. So we believe it's all helping. Obviously, what's really is increasingly critical is if the bus journey is around 5 to 7 hours, then it becomes compatible, if not better in some cases. If you take into account the certain cancellations and delays that one can take into account, then we become not only kind of affordable and sustainable, but also can be, in terms of the timeline, competitive as well. So we remain as a competitive alternative to riding, as well as airlines, as well as passenger rail. And we believe the transportation will continue to grow, but the likelihood of intercity may outgrow them.
And I guess maybe my last question is what the future holds for FlixBus and Greyhound. Where would you like to be in the next few years, and where do you see kind of a long-term goal for those companies?
I mean, what we want to see is we want to be top of mind for anybody thinking about long distance travel. And we're making that progress. We're delivering the results, and we're going to get there. We've seen that happening. It happened in Europe, and there's no reason why it's not going to happen here. And it is composed of multiple dimensions. One dimension is to make sure that we continue to excel in our operations, deliver on-time performance, sustainable travel. We continue to remain low cost and deliver a low cost experience, affordable experience for anybody coming in there. It's also important, the third dimension is we continue to work with the governmental agencies, local authorities to ensure that intercity bus is an integral part of the transportation system and has a presence in intermodals. So therefore, feed and flow is seamless for the passengers and low cost for the agencies and for us. And the citizens have the freedom to choose from. So we are seeing intercity bus, including a rural bus program, connecting rural to urban,
Right.
is increasingly becoming top of mind for anybody taking long distance travel. So the way we see it is bus is making a strong comeback, and bus is back, and everybody would like to get on a bus, hop on a bus, and travel to their destinations and see their loved ones.
Right. Great. Is there anything I should ask or anything you'd like to add in closing?
I think we covered it all, Alex. We covered it quite well.
Great.
Any
Thanks,
questions you
Kai.
may have?
No, I think it's a great conversation. I think this is a good topic. I feel intercity bus lines are really making inroads, in the US. And I think some of the things you talked about, the FlixBus and Greyhound, are definitely playing factors in that. And there's other providers that have done a great job of capturing markets where there are opportunities. So we're really seeing a little bit of a sea change in the industry.
Superb. I agree with that. Sea change is there.
Great. Kai, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Alex. I appreciate it.